Hey coin collectors, it's DC on the Big D Coin Channel, and we have the 1965 Jefferson 5-cent coin here that we're going to look at. And you can see one over here, it's a little bit tarnished, and one over here, it's really shiny. And this is a special coin, and we'll talk about why it's special. And this is a pretty plain coin over here, and we'll talk about why there aren't a lot of varieties and a lot of money in the 1965 Jefferson 5-cent coins. We'll also talk about these coins up here in the country that made these coins, which was Australia. And you'll see we have a 64 and a 66. No 1965 pennies were made in Australia, and we'll talk about why. And then we'll talk about this coin here, which is the Australian 66 50-cent coin, and why that's so valuable compared to most Australian and United States coins. But first, let's start with this coin right here. And this is the nickel. And this is the Jefferson nickel from 1965. And there is not really much variation in it. You see it says, "In God We Trust" here, "Liberty" here. There's a star right there. It says 1965. If we look down underneath Jefferson, we will remember that in 1965, they didn't put the initials on it. We don't see any mint mark on the front. We tip it up and we see that it's a smooth edge coin. And we get to the back and we see it's a pretty worn coin. It's almost worn through here. E pluribus unum at the top. Monticello here underneath this building, which is Monticello, Thomas Jefferson's home. 5 cents here, and United States of America down here. No mint mark over here either. In 1965, the United States government decided not to put any mint marks on any coins to kind of thwart collectors from collecting too many of them. So there was no San Francisco S mint mark. There was no Philadelphia mint mark, which later became the P mint mark. And there was no Denver or D mint mark on any of the coins. So when you're trying to collect 1965, there are two possibilities, and I'll tell you both, and we're going to look at both of them today. This is the first one, the regular circulation 1965 nickel. They made 136,131,000. We really can't tell where they made them because there's no mint mark on them. So a lot of times you see them labeled as Philadelphia coins or no mint mark 65s. 75% copper, 25% nickel. The auction record is 6,325 from Mint State 67 with the full steps. You'd have to have steps back here, which you can't see any on at all. In 2007, the current value is $15 for a Mint State 65 with the steps, $2,000 for Mint State 67. PCGS says a Mint State 67 is worth about $2,000, and they have graded 9 of those so far. So a lot of these coins out there, not many of them in good condition. You can get a high value coin, but it's hard to do. In 1965, they didn't put out any mint sets, but they did put out this coin right here, which is from what they call a special mint set, or a special strike coin. This one is not the best you can get because you can get one of these in a deep cameo, but this one has some nice color to it and some nice texture to it. These all came in what was called a special strike or special mint set. It would have a penny, nickel, dime, quarter, and $half in it, none of which had a mint mark on them. They made 2,360,000 of those special mint sets. The auction record for a special mint set nickel is huge. $7,050 for an SP67 in January of 2013. If you want to look at the best special mint set, special strike coin from PCGS, you can see it right here. And this is the SP67 Deep Cameo Nickel from 1965. And you can see, if you look at the steps on here, you can see that even on this one, the steps are not very good. So if you're looking for these and you think, well, I don't have a very highly graded one, check out the front first and make sure you have the detail in the hair and the detail back here and the detail in the cravat or tie in the face. But if you have a little bit of a dent like here on the back, but everything else is good, it could be an incredibly valuable coin. And you can see right down here that one of them sold in 2013 for $7,050. So don't give up just because there's a little bump in it. Look for these out there, and hopefully you'll find some valuable ones. However, since then they found 16 more. So now an SP67 isn't worth quite as much. It's worth about $3,500, but still very good. And an SP65 is worth $425. So if you can get this in good shape, it's worth a lot. But here's the problem. What they did was they took these and they super or hyper polished them. So you often won't get much detail in the hair, in the neck tie. You can almost not see it on there. In the tie on the braid of the hair back here. And then if we look at the steps, this is about as good as steps as you're going to see unless you get a really special one. But this is, of course, this has never been released or anything, but it was polished so much they actually polished the steps, some of the steps off it. So this one here might be worth $1 to $2 because it's from a special mint set, but not a high value coin either. We talked about Australia. In Australia in 1965, they decided not to make coins. They were transitioning from the old Australian coins, which were tied to the pound sterling, in which you had 240 pennies to the pound sterling. And this is the old one, the Queen Elizabeth one from 1964. So this last made in 1964 with a kangaroo on the back. And they were transitioning to this one, which is the 1966, which was going to be an Australian coin, which was worth in the cents. This is actually a 2-cent Australian coin with a frilled lizard on the back, but it doesn't say cent anywhere on it. It just has the 2. And then it has Queen Elizabeth's II portrait on the front. In addition, we said there's another one out there, and that's this one here. And this is the Australia 50-cent coin that they made in 1966. And what they did was they carried the silver over. So this is a silver coin, and it's very valuable. You can see the 50 cents. You can see the kangaroo here and the emu. And then you can see the crowned shield. And if we look really deep in there, we see the symbols for each of the Australian states in here. Just a really nice coin here. Well, all right, so if you're collecting the 1965 nickel, you only have to get one regular circulating one and one special mint set one. So there's nothing from Denver, nothing from San Francisco. Look for them out there. A lot of collectors aren't spending a lot of money on them. But if you can get a really, really, really good one, it can be worth thousands of dollars. All right, that's all we have today from the Big D Coin channel. We'd love to have you subscribe to the channel and leave any comments you have in the comment section.